everyone. Terry and I are back with another One Topic, Two People, Three Questions show. This is our very second episode. Last week we talked about how to pivot in business. This week we're talking about the one marketing technique that's recession proof, aka building authentic relationships, which is like, I am excited for this. And this is why I wanted to start this show actually, because Terry taught me so much in this topic, and I've gone on. You have, like, it legit changed my life. I coached Terry like 1,000 years ago, and then we became friends, and she's just taught me so much because I'm an extremely, extremely introverted person. Like, if people were to ask me, how are you doing today? I'm like, it's not your business. Like, why are you trying to get into my personal? Like, I was like one of those real extreme, and Terry helped me out of that tremendously. Like, you have no idea. So the way that our show works is every episode we ask 3 questions pertaining to one topic. Right now our focus is for entrepreneurs and helping with business, but that will eventually grow and change. And that said, if there's anything that you would like us to address or any topics that you have, great. If you want to ask yourselves these questions and post in our comments and our chat about your responses to this, also great. We're really hoping to build community and help other people through sharing our experiences. So Terry Dean, when it comes to building authentic relationships, which is the secret sauce, the one marketing technique that's recession proof, I want to know what's been we say that building authentic relationships is the secret sauce for getting clients consistently through anything. And I want to know your experiences with that. So our question that we have here is, what has been a great example or the best way to get clients through building relationships?
Oh gosh, I mean, for me, it's varied over the years. It's been everything from, cold calling someone's business, because I come from a background in media and marketing. And it's like, oh, okay, so I'm sorry, I have a rescue dog on my lap and he's still a little bit out of sorts. I've just had him a day and, it's kind of crazy. So my apologies. So sometimes it might be, okay, I have a great idea for creative and it's regarding a floor store and there's a place where they sell flooring. So I stop in, but being interested, I think, in whether it's a business or the type of business or the person that you're talking to, I think that's like a good base to start from. And not just walking in, I'm sales marketing my whole life. And it's not about me, it's about you. So I'm not going to come in and start telling you about the dog that I rescued. I want to know about you, Candace Thomas, and what is it about your business? Why did you start this business? What is it about that business? And just really being a good listener. So
right.
I think listening, genuine interest, and open ears. There's a reason why we have 2 of these and 1 of these. So
right. And I know last week you had talked about, in the way of getting clients specifically, it was through building relationships. And if y'all haven't checked out our first episode, Terry goes into detail and tells the story exactly of how building authentic relationships, it wasn't even getting new relationships. It wasn't cold calling, because you worked with, you sent cards out to people that you knew. You started with your neighbors and then you moved on to friends. And a lot of Terry's friends are entrepreneurs or business people. And then that turned into a whole business where she was sending cards, just checking in, like, how are you doing? Showing that she cared. So, and what you said last week was, it wasn't even about selling. You were genuinely just checking in and seeing what people were doing. But everyone went nuts for it because you're getting a card in the mail. So someone had to take the time, not in a blast email generically, but someone had to take the time to write something out. And I know the message that I got from you was very specific. It was personal to me. So I really felt valued. And then that led just in, I don't even say that's part of the building authentic relationships though, isn't it? Where you're just literally just giving a shit about people.
Right. Right. Well, and not that, like networking, we're so lucky. We're both members of Fem City, and they have local chapters across the country and in Canada. And then there are programs for global members, which we're both global members. So really you have this great, authentic new way of connecting with people, even if it's teaching classes, and maybe somebody in Canada is watching your classes and you get new clients through that. So, saying yes to marketing and groups and showing up. You have to show up because you're not going to get any more out of this than you put into it. So, I mean, we've even had people circle in over the years and go, well, I didn't get anything out of it. And I'm going, well, when have I ever even seen you at a lunch and learn? Never. I've never seen you. And you go back through the Facebook and you're like, oh, you posted one time. And it's like anything,
right.
Consistency is critical and consistency is key.
I like what you're saying about consistency and showing up as part of building relationships. And for FEMS, I will say for me, I'm a person who I didn't go to a lot of lunch and learns. And the reason was because I had clients scheduled through that time. But something I did do is whenever there was a new member for FEMS, it's okay. And people say, hey, welcome so-and-so. I'm typing like, welcome, how are you? Mm-hmm. And also I might, as I'm watching other people's videos or other things that they're doing, I am definitely like reaching out and saying that was cool.
Right.
Tell me more about that if I have a genuine interest in it. So
right.
It's not building fake relationships or what you said for me relationships. It's I actually got a few clients through FEMS
right.
Without trying to. I was just genuinely, I cared about what they were trying to do.
Right.
And something I learned from you that is really huge, which led to me getting business later on. It wasn't in the moment, but Terry Dean taught me, like when you were talking earlier in your story, your examples, Terry Dean taught me if there are two people who don't know each other and I know one could help the other, you just connect the two.
Do it.
And I don't get anything out of that, because why wouldn't I? So something that helped me with FEMS was if someone said, hey, Candace, I'm trying to be on a podcast. And I go, oh, cool. Well, here's all the ones that I applied to. Here's what they're looking for. This person's cool. Stay away from those. Or it might be, I'm looking for this kind of a coach. Can you help me? And
right.
rather than trying to like figure out how I fit into that business, I'm like, no, this is the person to help you in that area. Like talk with them. And here are like some other people that you also might find useful. And I also do introductions. If I know someone really well, it's like, oh yeah, I have a person for you. I think you should meet them. Here's why. Here's my intro that I do, like through a message email or through Messenger on social media. And that has gone so far for me. So at the time, it's like genuinely just to make it easier for everyone. But then guess what? Those people remember me when they go, hey, someone says to them, do you know anything about intuition or being psychic or whatever? And they go, talk to Candace. And I've gotten clients that way too, which is paid off in dividends. It really does. You earn so much by just giving a damn about people, just by showing up and caring and wanting the best for them. It turns into a win-win.
Right. I'm so glad you brought that up too, because those email intros, they don't take that much time. I'm surprised people don't do it all day, every day for everyone. I do probably, I don't know, multiple, sometimes on a daily basis, because it makes sense.
Right. But that's also, you love to do stuff like that. Again, Terry, like natural at it, loves it. And for me, I had to in the beginning, I had to mentally prep because I was still thinking about getting a sale, and now, and all the years that I've known you and I've been doing this since becoming a full-time entrepreneur, like 2014, I think what you just said, and consistently, I do strive for that. It's not hard, but I definitely don't want to spend all day doing it, but I do want to be spending like, every time I'm connecting with a person and reaching out to them, I'm constantly in my mind going, all right, who would be a best fit for this person?
Right.
And even if it's just like a friend situation, no chance in hell that would ever be a potential client. I'm still thinking about, oh, wow, you have an interest in doing like artists. Terry, you've worked with artists before, and that was like a mutual friend that we have. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're an amazing artist. Talk to Terry. She might be able to get you hooked up with different types of events and other things. And by the way, exactly what happened. So like mission accomplished.
You do that so well, and so frequently too. It blows me away to watch you. And I watch you also, people will come towards you with large amounts of money that want to work with you. And
Yes.
after doing like a consultation with them, I've watched you over and I'm like, just take the money already. And you're like, no, you know what? They're really trying to do something over here. And I actually know somebody over here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to refer that person out, because it really is
Right.
it's the right. And you know what it is? It's the right thing to do.
Well, I mean, and this is a big part of building relationships is we meet so many people all the time. Even introverted me who felt like I don't like talking to people. That's not true at all. I love hearing what excites people. I love what makes them happy. So when I was on social media, and I've taken a break from Facebook specifically, but I'm on Instagram still quite a bit, and just reaching out to people. If there's a post and I really like it, like, oh my God, thanks. Or if someone comments on my stuff, I'm like, thank you for taking the time, and then going from there. How are you doing today? What's going on? If people say that they liked a podcast or something that I was on, it's like, cool. Do you have any questions about it? What really stood out to you? And just building an authentic, genuine connection. Something I really like asking people, and this is skipping a little bit ahead in our questions, but like, how's your day going?
Mm-hmm.
It's because people will really tell you. We're kind of been programmed into like, oh, it's fine, right? You don't ask someone how they're really doing because you don't really want to know is what people say, but I really want to know.
Right.
And the other thing for me is I do not make nearly as many connections as you make, Terry, but the connections that I do make, I do my best to make sure those connections are meaningful.
Right.
And that means, if someone, for a strange reason, I get stopped a lot, like just out in the world. Like, I'm just trying to go shopping and someone's like, hey, da, 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 da. I'm like, oh, cool. That's fine. But instead of thinking, oh, why is this person talking to me? It's weird. My mindset is, oh, cool. Like, there's probably an opportunity here. Like, where is the win? And sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it's like, well, that was like a nice interaction, and you never see the person or hear from them again. Mm-hmm. But I have to say, there's been so many times where it is like, oh man, like, okay, perfect case in point example. Last year I did a workshop, and it was a really wooey one where I'm teaching people how to use their intuition to coach others. It was an intuitive coaching program. And I had a friend of mine flew out from Montana to help me do it. And we went to a Japanese restaurant, and my friend really connected with the waitress. Like, they were just, you meet people and you're like best friends. It was one of those situations.
Right.
And at the time, I'm like, this is like a nice lady, the waitress. Like, that's fine. She was great, And like 2 days ago, I get a message on Facebook where someone says, hey, you might not remember me, but you came into my restaurant. I was your waitress. I was your server. And I have questions about intuition. And of course I remembered her, because it was just bizarre that someone would be bonding like instantaneously at a Japanese restaurant kind of. And my friend was really bold with it, and I was like, wow, okay. Cause I'm still like an introverted self. Like, we're just out here really connecting with people, but yeah. And so a whole year later, here's this person random out of the blue. And what am I doing right now? I'm starting to teach intuition workshops again. So it was like perfect. When we talk about building connections and relationships being recession proof, it's so simple. It's just, and I really like what you said earlier. It's listening, really being present, just giving a shit about people. Pardon my language, but it's true.
Okay.
So with everything that you've done, we've probably already addressed this, but what has been your biggest lesson learned in building relationships?
I just don't take anybody for granted. I just don't assume that anybody wants a relationship with me. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, great. It's all okay. But one of the things that I do is I really, over the years, I've gotten so careful with, how we're quick to make those email intros and things like that. I think we also have to be extremely respectful of the people inner circle that we might be referring to one another. I don't want to just send you any old body, because I do know more about you. I know what you do. I know how you work. So when I send you somebody, I want them to be so well vetted that you don't even have to second guess. If it came from me, it's a potential client, and I don't want to waste your time. So I don't want to waste people's time. And I've literally had people come and just say, hey, can I have a name of so-and-so in the newsroom? I've got that. I'm like, no, I'm not going to give you that person's name that I have the relationship with. And somebody said to me at one point about the value of those connections and stuff too. And they said, what took you like 10 years to build and cultivate and create, somebody walks in and they think they can have stuff in like 5 seconds, you know. So again, that goes back to, that's a whole other topic, our value, you know, and creating value and being able to stand in our power with that. So yeah, I don't want to just throw anybody to anybody. I want it to be for the right reason. So I try to listen with the ear behind the ear and make sure that I'm not going to waste anyone's time, because everybody's time is so valuable.
Right. That's actually a really good point, because I'll have people come to me and they're like, hey, would you share this, something of theirs, with your audience? Because they think it'll be a great value. But that's still, I mean, first of all, who are you, right? We haven't really talked. Like,
I don't know you.
People are asking me.
Yeah, here's some names.
Right. Like, right. And it's, or you're right. Like just because I heard someone does something, or is a certain type of a coach, I won't just willy-nilly refer people to that person unless it's like ultra specific. Like, I do take time to, is the person someone that I would work with? And usually if it's another coach or a mentor or a program, I personally have had experience with the person running it, or I've actually done the program or course myself. So I know for a fact, like, yeah, you're going to have a great experience. That's a really good point. And the other thing I think a lesson that I learned is, all I can do in building authentic relationships is I can only control what I can control.
Right.
So sometimes I get a hit like, oh, I feel strongly these people should know each other and connect. It would be great. Or I get a hit to reach out to a person and they're not really, it's what you said. They're like, yeah, they don't want to connect with me. They're not feeling it. They're feeling like defensive, and it's fine, you know? So it's like, I can only do what I can do, and then just moving on, you know, keep it pushing. I think a big lesson is really learning what's mine to do. And in order to maintain integrity, you're right, because it can be easy to just take ownership of, I'm building a relationship and connection with you, and then like you overwhelm the other person. And it's not about that. It's just sort of like, hey, how can I build something? And then like, fine. And that's it. Just let it go where it needs to go. And literally it took a whole year and a couple days for this other person that, like, we talked one night at a Japanese restaurant, and that's coming back around. And that's happened, I can't even tell you how many times. And even building relationships with social media can be a very powerful tool. Right now, it's a bit toxic. It's a bit much. It always has been, but it's like really a lot. But I've noticed sometimes I will have reached out to someone through social media or done something and there wasn't a response, but they just weren't in the space to receive it then. So rather than hound them or think, oh, this person's not ready or whatever, it's just sort of like, I did what I felt called to do. When you're talking about the ear behind the ear, where it's like, I get hits all the time, like, ooh, I need to see how this person's doing and just let it rest. You know, It's fine. And if they get back, they get back. If they don't, they don't. And then I just keep moving along with the flow. I don't put all the eggs into the basket of, I need this relationship to do something for me. Like, my pure intention is, it's not even intention. It's just, I have the expectation magical things are going to happen. And that's how I operate. So every conversation I have, it's going to be meaningful. I would say I'm going to answer two. So the other lesson that I learned is really say what I mean. And that goes in part with not making assumptions. So if I do get a hit for a person that's another entrepreneur, sometimes I just say, hey, is there anything that you need? Because maybe we can work out a win-win. Like, we can talk together as entrepreneurs and figure something out. If I want something from a person, you know, I'm upfront about it, and which is refreshing and reassuring. And I had someone recently reach out to me, and she's like, do you want to be on my platform? She's got like 600,000 followers. It was really interesting to be on the receiving end of that. because my defensiveness came up where I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I guess, okay. In the past, with anyone else would be like, hell yeah, like, let's do it. Because I know it's going to be a value added win-win. And I really had to sit with, and being on the other side of that really showed me how sometimes when you know that you have something that could really work for someone, it's like, if they're not on board at that moment, that's fine. They will be when it works out for them. I don't know if I'm making sense, but really it's about what I say, getting back to making sure what I say is meaningful. So many people will just send messages that are super generic, or they will give advice before they fully understand what the person needs.
Right.
And so, meaning what I say, it's like, I might have an idea of something, but like, I'm checking in with the person, like, oh, tell me more about that. Tell me more about what you're wanting to do. And like, oh, what kind of issues are you having? Do you have, like, what kind of support do you need? I'm asking the questions before I make assumptions, and then saying, all right, I feel like this would be good. And I feel like this might be an opportunity. And I tell everyone, whether it's, and sometimes if I am the person, ding, 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 yeah, I can totally help you with that. I say it. It's like, I work with people, helping them with stuff like that. Would you like to hop on a call with me? Right. Here's what the call will be. It will be me just asking you more questions about this issue. And then if we're fit together, and only if we're fit together, we can talk about pricing and how the logistics of everything, being very intentional. Right. And not pretending that I can't help a person, because that's how I started. And what prevented me from talking to people is like, I want to be so salesy. I don't want to be weird. But like, it's like, oh no, let me just build relationships. It takes all the pressure off of, let me just see how you're doing and what you need. And sometimes that might be me. And if it is, I'll share that with you. And if it isn't, I'm going to share with you, like, hey, maybe this person. So being very intentional with how I build relationships.
You don't want to be right for everybody. No. I mean, like, no, if I'm not a fit for you, that's okay. No worries.
Yeah.
If you're a fit for everyone, you're a fit for no one.
Absolutely. So last question is, for someone who is wanting to build authentic relationships, kind of get recession-proof their business, they want to do more of this, like, getting the right kinds of their dream clients. Because last week you talked about how you got your dream client. Again, Terry goes into a lot of detail about how she did that with our last episode. So what is the first step that someone should take if they're ready to do this or do more of this?
Kind of back to how I answered in the beginning. I think we have to put ourselves out there. We have to say yes to things and people that make sense for what we're trying to do. If we have goals and desires, join some networking groups that you feel attracted to. FEMS has been a great place for us to make some extraordinary connections over the years. And yeah, I do some stuff in media and, stay connected with groups, because I kind of feel like good things happen when you talk to people. Good things happen when you talk to people. That's it.
Is that your dog? It sounded like you were on a boat. Like there was like a little revving.
I wish I was on a boat right now, and I wish I was in the sea, and I apologize for the English popping up. He's very unsteady, and I haven't had him. I got him yesterday afternoon. He had a horrible, horrible day. So today already, even with this craziness, it's still like 100% better almost than it was yesterday. I'm still not even sure how any of this is going to work out, which terrifies the crap out of me, but I'm just trying to keep him comfortable. And we took a long walk this morning, and that didn't tire his butt out. So looks like we're going to have another walk here in a little bit.
Right. Okay. Right on. I think first step for anyone wanting to build authentic relationships, and if you're watching us through FEMS, I mean, hello, it's FEMS. There are lots of people who have your goals and desires. I'm going to give you a tangible first step that I think is awesome, of just reaching out and connecting with, if there's been anyone on this platform or anywhere in your life that you really thought, oh, that's kind of a cool person. I wonder what, I'm sure we're humans. I know you've had people pop up into your mind that you've thought about. And I'm sure that something prevented you from reaching out to that person. And it's like, I'm going to first step is just to start reaching out to the people you want to reach out to the people that you actually care about or thought were cool. And don't worry if it's been 5 years or whatever yesterday. Just reach out to people and really be listening to where they are and what they need. And I would say bonus, like second step action or 1-B is when you're having real conversations and listening to where people are at, really just see who do you know that could bring massive value to them? Like, what is it that could really help them out? And sometimes the answer is nothing. Like they're just needing to vent, or they're just where they're at, or they could have all the support that they've ever needed. That's great. But what can you bring to people through your connection? And just see what happens. So it's not to have an end goal. I mean, of course, you're going to find out very quickly if there's an opportunity for you to work with someone. That's just naturally and organically going to come out. And then you can take it into a sales conversation and those kinds of things. But something that I've noticed, if you really do take those steps, is you will find someone. If they're not a client for you, they can usually lead you to someone who is, and they'll want to do it. And sometimes you have to ask for things like that. And if you're really authentic and have a genuine connection with someone, it's not awkward to do that. So that's what I would share. So any last thoughts or words?
Well, no, just kind of what you said. I just feel like we have to ask for what we need. Just don't be shy.
Yeah.
Ask for what you need. I'm intensely shy, but I still tell you what I need most of the time. Try not to be
right. But I think that goes back to when you're talking to someone and you're having a real conversation where you're not expecting anything.
Right.
It's easier for things to come up that way. And you know what? Like, really being meaningful in what I say, if someone asks me, how are you doing? I'm going to tell them the truth.
Right.
And I got so many people reaching out like, how are you doing with COVID? And of course, I'm like, not warning, but caveat, if it's someone who I know doesn't really care about me, if they feel like they've got that weird kind of gross energy where they're just wanting something, right, I'm not going to be like telling them anything about me. But I mean, like if a person is genuinely I respect and like, and they're like, hey, Candace, how are you? It's like, wow, I'm experiencing some really tough things today, feeling up and down. This is how I'm working through it, but I'm feeling this way, how are you? I'm real with people. I find that the more authentic and real I am with people, it does something where some of the weirdness or awkwardness comes down, because it's like, oh, damn, we're like having a real conversation. It's like, yeah, I'm a real human being. Just because I'm an entrepreneur and help people, I'm not some guru high on a mountain. I'm not like here and my clients are here. Like we're all here. And people have that experience with me right from the jump. So if they buy something from me, they know who they're getting. It's like, it's not a switcheroo. This is authentically where I'm at. So I love that you just said that.
Right.
So cool. That's another one wrapped up and done. Episode 2. One topic, 2 people, 3 questions. We'll be back again. As we said at the top.
Yeah, before we're done, where can people find you?
Oh, CandaceThomasIntuitive.com. Where can they find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Terry Dean, or you can go to the Fem City Albuquerque page and you can find all my stuff there. And I'm pretty easy to track down. But those are
good. I mean, if you're watching us through Fem, I'm all over in the directory. I love people. You can totally reach out to me through the email service there. Also on Instagram at Candace Intuitive. Also on Facebook at Candace Thomas Intuitive. It's all good. Pop below if you have any guidance, advice, techniques for how people can build authentic relationships, what actually worked for you. If you have any questions, we'll respond to all of that stuff. Thank you for watching. Go ahead, Terry.
One last thing, and I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier. It ties into everything we talked about, but I think we have to be vulnerable. We've got to be vulnerable. We've got to put ourselves in that position with somebody where they get to learn a little bit about us. And, we learn about them and it gives them that same permission back to kind of share that same energy with us. So that's it. That's all. We can talk about vulnerability in another episode. We can add
I was going to say, like,
we can add that to our
that's
list.
like a clip. That's like a cliffhanger of a thing. We can't just end there, but yeah, we'll talk about it. Well, that's definitely, that has been, I have to say, vulnerability is like the secret sauce of the secret sauce. That really changed everything around where I started getting the clients I dream about and had different experiences with business was when I was really, because there's an authenticity and vulnerability. That's like a whole other topic going on. Yep.
But yeah,
We'll
that's
definitely talk about that. Yep.
Okay.
So right now, our next topic might be vulnerability, or I think what we had written down was how to get unstuck in your business if you're feeling stuck right now. So we'll see. It's a mystery on one of those that we'll do, but there will be a next time. Please let us know if this is value added or if you want us to do it in a different way, yada, yada. We really appreciate your feedback and we really appreciate you tuning in.
Yep. Thanks. Bye. Have a good week.